What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti, and as I like to talk project cars, I really like to talk about other people's projects. Here, Siobhan Parikh made the classic mistake. Unlike leaving his Evo in his mom's driveway to get flooded out by a hurricane, this one he kept drivable while dumping far too much money into it. So he did the high schooler's dream. He put top-notch components into this BRZ to make it what a BRZ was designed to be. It was a tuner car. He did the tuning and spent quite a bunch of money. Now that he's ready to sell it, I'm going to tell you about it. First thing he did, right off the bat, he got these wheels. This is back in 14. He bought it new, bought it for cash, 28 grand, so there's no financing to factor in here. But say 30 grand after all said and done. He then got these wheels. That was a solid $1,706, shipped from Japan. Next up, the brakes. Smart move. He went to the Brembo brakes. We'll just leave it at the front and the rear kit at $4,300, not even including labor, but $4,300 for the front and rear brakes. That was a special price. That was not a retail price. I hooked him up with that. From there, we've got the Jackson Racing Supercharger kit. This was all done by Prime Motoring in East Rutherford, New Jersey. He's got the supercharger up there, plus a bunch of stuff with installation, a clutch kit, the ACT HD Street clutch, etc., etc., etc. That all came out to $9,674. So that's not cheap. Next up, this is now a year into owning the car. He changed the clutch. The other one sucked for whatever reason. Made of a harder compound that still retains good street manners. These mounts can take forced induction power levels and minimize engine movement. They're like putting the sales pitch on the on this, but he replaced the clutch with the ACT HD BRZ clutch. That was another $2,337. That was probably going to fix drivability issue. He also did a ceramic coating on the header. And an unequal length BRZ header and replaced the transmission mount as well. After that, he went to the exhaust. He did the titanium exhaust. That was another, no wait, not this. This is the Muse 2 straight. Oh, this is also titanium overpipe. This is part of the exhaust, $1,707 for that part of the exhaust. This is the other part of the exhaust. This is the catback part. That's another $2,700. So it's like $5 grand for the exhaust. Ridiculous. Next up, some bigger fuel injectors, high flow pump, 12 PSI pulley. It means it wasn't fast enough. So what do? You crank it up a little bit. Plus labor, $1,401. That was through Moto East in Easton, Pennsylvania. So is this. Let's see here. Injectors, high flow fuel pump. High boost pulley, that's all on a repeat. Test for leaks, do this, do this, do this. Blah, 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 a bunch of nonsense. $2,981. That includes adding like the valet mode selector so you can adjust the boost levels and everything and the response of the gas pedal in the car. And is this a last but not least? Last but not least, he went and bought a new crank, alternator, idlers, and tensioners for another $800. This doesn't include the labor, but the total of just the parts receipts without the labor for putting the brakes on and then the labor for putting whatever these additional fix-its are, new crank, I think this is when he snapped the belt, was $27,587 with labor, just say an even 30, plus the 30 he spent for the car, brings the grand total up to $60,000 into what looks like a stock body BRZ with some really nice components on it. Now, what's the bad part about that? He's selling it for $22,000. So, that being said, let me just look what the odometer says. He's got a new battery for it because the battery is weak, but that's not even factored into this. Whatever. The battery's so dead, it's not even going to show me what the odometer is. Let's say it's 30,000 miles. That sounds about right. So Shivam now has a BRZ, which cost him 60 grand, which is probably a high schooler's dream. Best components, but the components are better than the car. They cost as much as the car, and the car is worth a fraction. This is why I tell you not to do project cars. It's fun to throw a couple of little things on it, especially, and the labor is not really saving much here, but these Brembos are a waste. You don't need Brembos. You could have gotten Willwoods for a fraction of the cost. I mean, these are for big boy cars, and you're putting big boy components on a high schooler's car. I don't know if it's necessarily the right move. He's got $60,000 that says it isn't. I've got the fact check that it's only worth 22, saying he was wrong. So ultimately, it cost Shivam $38,000 to put 30,000 miles in a BRZ. Think about that. And a lot of that's just commuting in and out of the city. That's not even like he got to do anything cool with it. He did bring it on adventure drives where I smoked the shit out of him in my GT3. And my GT3 is not a fast straight line car, but it put bus lengths on him. Ian, roll that clip because we have it somewhere. I don't know where it is, but it was so bad that we didn't even realize it was a race. But in the world of BRZs, this is probably one of the better ones. And even the better ones, the intercool piping with this setup won't even allow the bumper to mount flush. That's just a normal thing when you do that. So thank you for watching. Let this serve a lesson to you. If you are going to do something like this to a car, don't just wait for somebody like Shivam to do it and buy it from him. Catch you next time.